Wow. I feel good. Do. I knew that I would. I feel good. I knew that I would. So good. So good. I got you. I think that's enough, right?
That's plenty. That's more than enough. And you brought the band too, which is amazing.
Yeah. The whole crew came.
Thanks so much, Or. I really like. I like different tracks like that.
You
we
know,
get a lot of
it's,
similar tracks sometimes. A lot of people singing the same things.
It's
Monday.
Monday.
I'm not dismissing it, man.
It's Monday. You know, we gotta feel good.
I just think I like the high energy comes in and just like let's rock and roll and let's get talking.
High energy, and it's only my first espresso of the day. Can you believe that?
You got to get 5 or 6 of them, man. That's how the routine is, especially when you got a machine like this.
Typically takes me 2 to get out of bed. So
does it?
We're a bit behind today.
Welcome to the show.
Appreciate you having me here.
Thanks so much. And then obviously we're going to talk a little bit about drywall, but I'm more fascinated on the business brand that you built.
We're all about the business,
right?
You know?
So it's really interesting. So and how do you pronounce your last name?
Segev.
And it's Or.
Yeah.
Is that how it's pronounced?
It's like Orlando without the Lando.
Okay, so it's Or. All right. And then Patch Dudes is your baby that you started,
Patch Dudes is my baby along with my better looking and smarter half, Mika.
Normally takes 2.
Yeah,
doesn't it? Raw base, yeah.
It takes 2 for sure. We talked off air before. I've had painting companies since I've been painting since I was 14. I had a painting company, grew relatively big. We were up to 24 painters at one time.
Oh shit.
But you know, it took me a big failure to realize that a business without proper business foundations and principles, it's like a house cards. A little bit of wind comes and it falls down. So when we finish that section of our life, and we can get into that.
No, we could talk a little bit about that, but it's like without the failure, you would not have learned, and probably 100%. You would not have been on the path to create this.
Oh, it's we were just in a conference right now with a whole like 500 contractors over there, and you know everyone's talking about their failures. They've been in business for like 20 years before they were successful, and you know Mika was looking at me. I was like, "We're only in business for 2 years," and I told her, "No. I've been in business for like 12 years, so all my failures behind me."
There's a
pre-show.
Yeah.
So we're all the failures we like to think is out of the way. It's with Patch Dudes, we have an awesome concept, awesome brand, but we're focusing on the business principle, and that's
let me share the deets. So I guess most of the action you got going on is from Instagram. It's at patch.dudes.
Yep.
The website is www.patchdudes.com, and the phone number to reach them is 647-549-0299. Do you want to share your email or?
Yeah, if anybody want to get in touch with me, I'm an open book. It's just OrSegev at patchdudes.com.
Let me do some shout outs. I'm wearing Brandon's tee from Hydro Green sprinklers, irrigation. It's nice. It's a nice color. I like it. But I also want to do, I got to do a quick shout out that I don't want to mention his name, but it's, I've said it on the show over and over. And it's funny that you just brought that up, or about our failures and stuff like that. A certain individual that I know that I respect that is a very good tradesperson out west is currently dealing with some legal BS. And it's just, I've always said that if you stay in the business long enough, you eventually become the villain. Yeah. And what I mean by that is that eventually you'll have to start having conversations with lawyers and having to get money that you you need to be given because you did the work. And so it's kind of shitty that everything's going better for him on the personal side, but now professionally, winter sucks for this trade, and all of a sudden now you got to fight for money that you've already earned, and for whatever reason. I don't want to get into it, but I just want to give him a shout out and just let him know, listen, man, I've been there. I'm hearing it. I understand it. Hopefully it gets resolved soon. Hopefully it gets resolved quickly and simply, and with as few hours of legal bullshit as possible. Because lawyers are not my friends. I'm not.
They're expensive as shit.
Exactly. That's when it starts to add up. And then I also want to do a really quick shout out because we're getting close to the Concrete Expo. So the Canadian Concrete Expo is happening, guys. I just want to let everybody know that thousands of professionals, exhibitors, and attendees will descend upon the International Center, roaming the show's over 250,000 square feet of pumper trucks, equipment, aggregates, tools, mixers, and more. The show floor is where deals are found and made. Whether you're a local contractor, pro, or doing business across the country, you'll find the need at the sixth annual Canadian Concrete Expo. So join us, experience CCE effect for yourself at Canada's only national trade show dedicated to concrete aggregates, February 14th and 15th at Toronto's International Center. Also use the TCL code, and you'll get in. You'll get in free. Basically, is what I'm saying. Unleash your voice on the Construction Life podcast community. Are you passionate about the world of construction, trades, and all things building related? The Construction Life Podcast wants to hear from you. Leave us a review, share your thoughts, insights, and experiences on your favorite podcast channel. Your review fuels our mission to create engaging and informative content for the construction community. Your feedback is the motor that holds our podcast together. Share your thoughts, rate us, and let the construction community know why The Construction Life is your go-to podcast. Visit our website and check out the nearly 500 tradespeople and construction professionals listed on the site. Connect with all of them. Check us out at www.theconstructionlife.com for additional content, behind-the-scenes exclusives, and valuable resources. Dive deeper into the construction world with articles, guest profiles, and more. Follow us on Instagram at TCL_The Construction Life. Follow us on TikTok under the same handle, and tweet us at TCL Construction. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, check out our link tree, and find exclusive discounts for listeners. Link is in the IG bio. Join the conversation on Facebook, The Construction Life Community. And now, over to you, man.
I was going to say, that's my favorite 4-letter F word, free.
I want to know, or like, how did you come up with the idea to, because this is a really clever idea, it's smart, to come in and fix the little problems that nobody wants to pay attention to.
Yeah. I mean, the way we describe it, our elevator pitch for patch dudes, is for anyone that's not familiar, everybody's got that pesky, annoying drywall repair they've been putting off or don't want to look at. Their husband tried it and it looks like shit. We come in, we fix it in a matter of a few hours. It's sanded with dustless sanding equipment, painted, out the door. One less thing on your to-do list. The whole idea, I would love to say that I invented it and everything. No. I didn't. It's something that
packaged
exists.
it.
I repackaged it.
Yeah.
That's the best way to say. So, like I said, I was painting since I was 14. A lot. I was really bad at the beginning. Then I got really, really good towards it. Went for university.
Welcome to the construction life.
Appreciate it.
Everybody's like that. Nobody's a perfect rock star at the beginning.
But for all my times, I found that painters, for some reason, anything bigger than like an anchor hole or a nail hole, they start struggling patching it. Yeah, they don't want to touch it. The big drywall companies are not coming out for a 2x2 water leak. And if you're going for insurance, you're looking at weeks or months before it gets handled.
You're
a lot of money
at it every morning.
Exactly. So I thought there was a little bit of a niche in the market. Long story short, my ex-partners in business, they had a bunch of quick service businesses. So like appliance repair, garage door repair, stuff that it's like multiple technician base. And each technician does multiple jobs a day. Cash flow is immediate, on the spot. And I thought, how can I combine my painting and renovation experience with the fast cash flow that my ex-partners had?
Okay.
And then I was just on Instagram, fucking around, excuse my French. And then I see a company in the States, small company, that all they do is drywall repairs, small to medium. And then, honestly, I'm not going to divulge your name because I don't want to shit talk anyone, but the brand really wasn't that great in my opinion.
Yep.
It looked like a mom and pop shop. And then I went online. Next thing I know, they have like almost 90 franchise locations in the States, only in the East Coast. And I said, holy crap, maybe I should buy a franchise in Canada to do this because I was looking for my next adventure. So I started looking in Canada and ended up there's 2 companies that do what we do in a very small way.
How far back we talking about, Hero?
Almost 3 years now.
3 years, okay.
Yeah. Right. And so nothing I found was a legit franchise like an OTE brand or something like that. And nothing really looked appealing to me. And I said, why do I need to pay the franchise fee for someone that it doesn't look like I'm getting much in return? So I looked over at my better half. She was a marketing consultant at Deloitte back then. I said, what do you think of this idea? Doing drywall repairs, and why don't we brand it in a way from the get-go that's A, franchisable in the future, but B, would establish trust and establish us as the go-to in the marketplace. Yeah. She said, you're stupid. I hate that idea. I hate the name Patch Dudes. It's sexist. But
it actually, it's I'm sorry, but it's not. I think it connects right away.
Yeah, we're reinventing the word dude.
Yeah.
Dude is a personality. Yeah. It's not a gender.
Exactly. It's an attitude.
Exactly. It's an attitude.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what we went with. And then she set out, we worked with Jump Brands, if anybody's familiar with them from the get-go. They're a branding consultant. So she worked with them. We did a whole bunch of market research to try to find who our clientele are, what kind of vibe our brand needs to put out, what kind of feeling it needs to generate. That's literally down to the colors that we use, the character that we use. So she did all of that. It took probably about 6 months until our brand was done.
Were you testing the waters the same time that you were building the brand?
So at the same time we were building the brand, I was doing myself a whole bunch of like repairs. Trying to perfect
just
the
to
system.
get an idea of how it's going to be.
Exactly. It's all about SOP, standard operating procedures. So I was trying from the get-go set those procedures on how to do the repair so I can teach it really easily. So it was January 2022 that our website was finally ready.
Okay.
We launched in January. Our first real job was not until end of March. And at that time, we thought it was just going to be me doing the work, maybe a helper, and Mika doing the back end. What ended up in reality is we started getting calls for stucco removal more than repairs to begin with. Getting rid of the stupid popcorn ceilings.
Was that on your website or?
It was on our website as a secondary kind of service.
Okay.
Just because, again, when I was doing painting, a lot of painters were also doing stucco removal. No one was really specializing in it. So I did have a killer system for it. And all of the information is on our website actually with videos. We have like 80,000 views on a video how to skim a ceiling.
Yep.
So what ended up happening at the beginning, we got a ton of calls for that. So next thing you know, 2 months in, we have a crew of 4 guys doing nothing but stucco removal. And actually the repair side really struggled in the beginning. It took about probably almost a year until we had enough work for a full-time technician.
Just for one person?
Just for one person.
To stay busy 5 days a week?
Exactly.
Okay.
But then at the end of the year, our SEO that we started investing very heavily, which is search engine optimization, basically the organic ranking on Google.
Yeah.
Once that caught on, it was like wildfire. Now we have tons of work, multiple technicians, and, we're bringing on new people. So if anybody is a drywall repair technician or taper sick of doing a huge job and wants to make better money, give us a call.
So let me backtrack a tiny bit to the SEO because I've had some social media people on the show before talk about SEO and Google and everything like that. And what was it that you guys were doing slightly different? Because they've always expressed Google and SEO being like trying to communicate how to operate a gun to a 6-year-old.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to be very specific on what words you're using and if you actually want to target certain things, otherwise it becomes a Google blanket at that point, which doesn't benefit you as a business owner, right? So what were you guys like? Were you just cause and effect, trial and error, looking at different parts of the city, seeing what people were asking for? Because obviously Toronto's such a diverse area.
Huge.
And there's obviously, you got the condo market too, but the thing is they've got their own internal building maintenance bullshit. And I say that for a specific reason because it is bullshit. And then you got homeowners that rather call someone like you to come in instead of deal with their building maintenance person. So how did you guys tackle that SEO?
So I think, disclaimer, I am not an SEO expert. Discard everything I say.
Neither am I. I just know how to spell it.
So for all the internet experts out there. But I think that the real question is what's your marketing strategy to begin with?
Yeah.
We do have a third party that handles our SEO, and they do a ton of trial and error and the buying quality links, backlinks, and linking all that crap. But really, what I think it came down to is from the get go, Mika put together a really, really good marketing plan, which involved a cohesive ecosystem of different marketing channels and activities that we did, and that goes from the uniforms that our guys are wearing. It's the branded trucks that are driving around. It's the 134 5-star Google reviews, getting a review from every job. That really helps SEO. Making sure that our socials all have the exact same look and feel to them. The YouTube videos, even though nobody's looking at your YouTube videos in the beginning, it all kind of ties into the SEO. So I think the more that we kind of stuck with it and realized that we have something here, this concept is working. There is a demand for it. We kind of had to we have to educate the marketplace that this concept even existed.
Yeah.
So once it took a while to get to a point that all of those different vehicles were clicking in harmony together. but right now it's we're finally getting to that point. You know, the word of mouth is compounding.
Quick shout. The Builder Project is an energy consulting and construction management firm for building retrofits with a mission to increase communication, improve collaboration, and maximize social and environmental impact. They apply a holistic approach to energy and water efficiency in existing commercial, healthcare, and municipal buildings throughout the New York metropolitan area. They work with building owners to identify ways to reduce energy and water consumption, increase comfort for building occupants, improve indoor air quality, and create healthier environments. In addition, they aim to create a sustainable business model that supports local jobs and training programs to address the labor shortage. They believe that the best way to support our mission is to create high-quality jobs and provide training opportunities for residents, hiring locally whenever possible, and purchasing goods and services from minority and women-owned businesses. So please check them out at thebuilderproject.com. It's like becoming the Kleenex. It's
exactly
now, right?
Exactly. So if you ask me, what's your big? Everybody loves to ask me. The conference we were just saying, what's your best leads generator? Where do you get most of your leads from? Everybody's word of mouth and referrals, which is great. It's a sign of a healthy business, but you can't scale on word of mouth.
No.
So for us, it's a combination. We track everything. Instagram generated out of a million or something in revenue. It generated almost $300,000 for us last year. SEO was great. PPC for us was great in the beginning, but PPC right now, because our SEO is so good, our Google AdWords, it's just honestly a waste of money. It's our most expensive cost per lead.
I totally agree.
Yeah, so it's been very organic kind of growth, and we did it on purpose because I didn't want to go from $500,000 in first year to $5 million the second year. That's kind of what we did in our painting company and caused a shit show. So we kind of almost held ourselves back on purpose. Another story in the end of 2023 in August, we had to kind of almost reset our whole company. We lost half of our stuff, of our labor, due to a bad hire. It was kind of a shit show. So we're trying to work out all those.
There was a virus.
It was a virus.
It happens, right?
It wasn't as much as a virus. The guy was our best field worker, and we promoted him to our project manager. I did that as a business owner. I have to take responsibility because we promoted somebody that was a superstar.
Yep.
We put him in the wrong seat on the bus without giving him the tools or systems to be the superstar.
Okay.
So that kind of caused a bad chain reaction, like it did. But thankfully, I have a smart business mind sitting behind you there.
They got you to reevaluate.
Yeah, and together we had to reevaluate. We kind of resetted, got rid of the people on the wrong seat on the bus or relocated them to a better seat on the bus for them.
Okay.
Brought in better people with proper onboarding systems and training systems. And big shout out to Breakthrough Academy. They're our coaching program that we're part of. That's a conference we just went to.
Okay.
And they helped us with all the onboarding systems, SOPs, everything needed to run a proper business. So it was a hell of a year. 2023 was a hell of a year.
Am I fair to assume that most of your clientele are younger than older?
Great question. Our clientele ranges into two groups.
Okay.
One, it's the boomers, 55 to
the older guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that typically used to do it themselves, and they're too old. They don't have the time. Higher income. We do a ton of work in Oakville, Mississauga, Burlington, those areas. We do a ton. And then the other group is downtown condos, young professionals, white collar. Those we do really, really well. Our business is currently 100% B2C. So we market to the end consumer. We market to the homeowners, to the unit owners of condos. We didn't even touch the surface of property managers, trade referrals, or anything like that. Because, we're trying to be very selective of who we do work with. When you have a limited capacity for production, you got to be very selective with the jobs you take, so you don't end up like your buddy taking the desperation jobs and fighting it out in courts. Again, I don't know the story there, but I've been in that shoe too many times, taking the desperation jobs just to keep people busy. So our demographic is kind of the two groups, but
is it basically? I'm gonna assume that it's more they don't have the time or the interest to do it, and less they don't have the skill to do it, or is it a balance of both?
It's a balance of both. We find a lot of people, most people are willing to pay our prices, and we are a bit more of a premium offering price-wise.
But you're coming in and solving a problem.
Yeah, we're solving a
as
problem
efficiently as possible.
100%.
So then there's a cost. It's different than if they were to get on a job
100%.
site and they know somebody, and all of a sudden you're on a new construction job site, or you're doing a rental.
No,
and then you like a drywall guy. Can you come by my place and just take care of this patch?
No,
and
it's
like drywall guys won't do that.
It's definitely people that value their time. They don't want to spend time buying materials and trying to do it themselves and just calling somebody else. And then the second group is people that tried it themselves before, did a terrible job, because mudding is actually a little bit of an art to do.
So they listened to the Orange Apron,
yeah.
and they went down the aisle there.
Exactly. And then, their wife said, "You're never doing this again. I'm calling the patch dudes." So, yeah. My joke is that call us, we'll make your wife happy.
Because you guys go in there and just, for whatever reason, if there's a hole, there's something that happened, it's
lots
annoying.
of anger issues in the city, man.
Yeah?
Ton of people punching walls.
In the condos, in the high-rise?
I hope not. Concrete walls.
Yeah.
But it's a ton of, I just went to, we're doing a job this week where in a condo building, rental apartment, that the tenant got mad at the landlord and smashed every single wall with a hammer. Yeah, so he cost like $7,000 worth of drywall repairs. But
Is it drywall or concrete walls? Both?
Drywall.
Drywall walls.
Yeah. So it's, there's most of our work is probably due to leaks still. Water leaks, electricians making ceiling looks like
maintenance issue, right?
Exactly.
It shouldn't be happening if it was built properly at that point, but
it's crazy. It seems like Canada, the way we build homes, it's almost like to create the secondary industry of maintenance.
It's not like it is.
Yeah.
That's the shitty thing about it, right? Do you also educate your clients on, if you leave all this moisture here and it continues this way, that there's a health risk attached to this?
Yes, for sure. The mold is a big concern.
Yeah.
For a lot of clients that call us, even if they had a leak a day ago, they want it done immediately because they are concerned about the possibility of water seeding or mold or whatnot. So our technicians do a great job of educating the clients on the spot too. So, if there's a concern by the client, that there might be moisture on what seems like a small hole, we'll actually cut a bigger piece, take it to the client, show him. You see, there's no residual signs of water anywhere. So it's a bit of drywall repairs. It's not a luxury. It's not something that you want to do. It's something that you have to do, unfortunately. So we have to be very sympathetic to the clients that call. Which makes it very interesting when calls come in, because we do have multiple services. We have the stucco removal. We do 3,500 square feet of stucco removal a week. So we have 3 crews operating around the city.
Stucco should never have been an option in the
I agree with you, but the builders are still spraying that crap, dude.
Well, they were doing it because they didn't want to do more than one coat.
Nobody wants to finish the drywall.
Nobody wants to finish it flat.
I had a client that bought a brand new home in East Gwillimbury, 2,400 square feet. Brand he bought it on paper from the builder. He wanted upgrade to flat ceilings, and this is before it's all on paper.
How much?
The builder told him it's $45,000 to upgrade to flat ceiling throughout. The guy told him, spray your stucco. Called me for about $15,000, and we took everything off and made it look perfect. So as long as builders keep doing that kind of crap,
or
we'll
don't
have
even
a lot of work.
spray your stucco and just leave it, and then come in and finish the coats after that.
Based on their contracts, apparently they have to send it.
$45,000. You could hang and mud a whole house for that price.
Yep.
2,400 square feet.
And that's a killer. That's what kills me, because I know what they're paying the new construction tapers. The taper is not getting $45,000 to tape that ceiling.
No, the builder's getting that money.
Yeah, it's this industry is interesting, man. One of our mission statement was to professionalize a very unprofessional industry. And it starts.
There's no regulation, right?
There's
so anybody is a genius, and anybody is an expert, and they just do whatever they want to do. Is that
100%?
Which is that's not right when it comes to that trade.
And that's why you have like the especially on popcorn ceiling removal, the price difference is the variation in price between companies.
Huge, massive?
Oh my god!
But everybody is not using the same tools, or like
it's not the same tool, it's not the same process. I mean, we skim coat every ceiling twice after we remove the stucco just to make sure it's perfect. I mean, I have guys that are bidding against me that they're just scraping everything by hand, priming, doing some touch-ups, calling it a day.
And just make it wet and then scrape it down into a garbage can.
So I tell the homeowner, it's, there's a $2 a square foot, there's $8 a square foot process. Which conversations should we have? Not if there's one thing I learned from this business and my previous businesses is that not everyone is your client. And the power of no is
Learn how
huge.
to. I was just gonna say.
Learn how to say no, man, and your life will be so
sooner
much
you
easier.
learn how to say no, the better off you're gonna build a proper business.
100%. I mean, I'm still guilty. We took on a.
No, you still gotta learn.
We took
It's
on.
testing.
We're branching into a more robust taping.
Okay.
Still working B2C, so we're only looking to work on taping jobs like with the homeowners or somebody actually managing the project. But we did take on a job that we probably shouldn't. All the red flags were there. It's what I call a January job, where you got to fill the schedule. So even with my vast experience, we still make mistakes every once in a while, but it's okay. You live and you learn, right?
Do you have a preference on mud?
Dude.
Are you
Where do I
you
start?
can make any? Well, I don't know. You tell me, because I know that certain guys have preferences when it comes to certain.
Let me put it this way. I have guys that can make Sheetrock 5 look incredible, even as a finish coat. I would never do it. We have very strict processes. Whenever we finish something and it needs to be sanded, it's always all-purpose mud. We love the ultra lightweights, the light green bucket we get it from Sherwin-Williams, but you get it everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Because it spreads a certain way, right?
it sands easy,
Sands
it
very
dries
nice.
fast. We have a whole process, but it's typically first couple coats, hot mud, last coat, all-purpose. You're good to go.
And what tape are you using? Are you paper, mesh?
When we started out, we used mesh a lot. Now we tape everything other than inside corners with fiber fuse.
Okay.
That's stuff that looks like dryer sheets.
Yeah.
It's itchy. It's not comfortable to work with, but it does not crack. It doesn't move. It has a lot of flex in it. So just for warranty sake and whatnot, because we do warranty all of our projects against any future cracking, anything like that. We've had issues with mesh. Once we switched over
You've seen cracks?
Yeah.
Really? Huh?
Yeah. I've had jobs that we crack, and I know people are going to comment. They're going to say, oh, it's because you did it in the same day. No, we've had jobs. We pre-filled the crack, fastened the drywall. Everything was dried perfectly, and we did it with mesh, and it cracked like 2 weeks after. Did the same thing, same process with fiber fuse, and it's a year and a half later, and it's still good. So
I mean, I think it's worth the extra money to pay fiber and use that instead of using mesh, man.
I mean, in our business model as a whole, if in painting the cost of material is around 10-12%. What's our cost of material? About 5 to 7%.
It's nothing.
It's so minimal.
The callback is where the expense. That's where the loss is.
If you don't do your job right on the first time, you're not making any money.
No.
And you're not getting the repeat clients. You're not getting their referrals. So our systems are all about do it right the first time. Follow step by step. It's almost to a point we built our system and training is I can take anybody with minimal experience. Just follow the steps by step by step by step. And you'll be a repair technician.
How long is the training process? When you get let's say you get a kid who's coming in and they want to be working with you, and how long does it normally take before they're actually on a job site doing it themselves?
Give me somebody that was a painter or like a painter assistant before.
Yep.
2 weeks. Give me somebody that never picked up a drywall equipment. A month. Yeah, it's
Then they'll get the trick
it's
of
so
it.
repetitive. That's what I like about niching down. The riches is in the niches. Is once you do the same kind of thing day in day out, if you do the same repair 100 times a month, it's unreasonable to expect not to be better at it. So
It's 10,000 kick. I know.
yeah,
Totally,
exactly.
yeah.
You do something. Most of our repairs fall into the same processes and the same categories. So it's if you've done a repair on a 4x4 patch, a couple things might be different depending on site conditions, but the repair itself is the same thing over and over and over again.
I know you guys pride yourself on being, and you're not 100% dustless, but you're getting close to like 99% dustless, right?
Yeah.
And I guess that's a real critical thing to all clients.
Yeah.
And I'm still dumbfounded that the drywall trade itself still using sanding pads and just putting a regular N95 on or whatever, and then having.
Crazy.
There's a reason why when you take your dust mask off and you got those two little marks beside your nostrils of dust that are past the actual filtration of the mask.
Yeah.
There's a reason why. So you should be paying attention to that. But I think more and more people should be using vacuum assisted
100%.
And I'm not saying go and spend the thousands of dollars that are associated with a Festool product or whatever. There's other brands that have good machines as well. The whole thing is get dust free, man.
Dude, I'm a tool junkie. I have all the different sanding equipment. I got the Festols, I got the Mirka, I got the Surf
Which one's
Prep.
better? Be honest with you. Which one's better? Because I've heard guys tell me Mirka's good, Festool's good.
Let me put it this way. I was just having a conversation with a guy looking to get into the industry in Chicago, and he was asking me the same questions. And I told him, if you're looking to do final sanding, or if you've never used dust sanding machines, go Mirka. Mirka, it's light. If you used a pole sander before in your life, you know how to use electronic. You press a button and you're good to go. Their paper is magnificent, doesn't leave any swivel marks. The issue with Festool and their sanders, the vacuums are incredible. The sander itself, the Plane X, the Plane X 2.0, whatever you want to use, it's heavy. There's too many settings on it, especially when you give it to your guys to play with. And it leaves swivel marks that you'll see with LED lights. So we actually, when we do popcorn ceiling removal, we use the Plane X to remove because it has a bit more power to it. Yep. Once it's removed, all final sanding is done with the Mirka.
The Mirka, huh?
Yeah, I think Mirka
I've heard similar. I've heard similar, that's why.
They made a great product, but, Makita makes a great sander. DeWalt makes a great sander.
Nobody's got a cordless sander, do they?
Working with your hands is demanding. You demand gear that works as hard as you do. Now get it. Only at Work and Wear. Offering the best in workwear since 1975. From Cool Works ventilated work pants to keep you cool, to mesh and survey vests to keep you safe, including harnesses from $49.95. And top name safety footwear by Timberland, Keen, Kodiak, Terra, and Blundstone, just to name a few. Only at Work and Wear in Markham, Scarborough, and Whitby, or workandwear.ca.
They are cordless. The DeWalt ones is cordless.
Okay.
And it hooks
that's
up
got to
to
be
your
heavy with that
Festool.
dual battery on the back end.
And I've seen some videos and reviews of
Almost
it.
then you like a little
It's not the one I buy.
a wagon wheel next to you to
No.
carry the battery for that
No.
thing, man.
But it's also important to set expectations, like you said. On repairs, when we come in, the house is just as clean, if not cleaner, when we finish the job. But yeah, the dustless machines will take about 95% of the dust, 96%. There's stuff that doesn't matter what you do. There's corners that you can't reach with a
and
big
you still have
sander.
to touch those with the hand, but you try to keep things as quiet as possible. But that's
for
part of drywall, and that's how it works. So anybody
It's a
who's
messy
gonna come
industry.
Yeah,
It's a real messy industry, and we're trying to make it a little bit cleaner. And I wish everybody would use it. And nowadays, Sherwin-Williams will give a credit account to anybody that can fog up a mirror. They'll give you a credit account with 0% with $2,000. Go buy yourself a machine.
Yeah.
Your clients will thank you. I think you're doing your clients a disservice if you're not using dustless sanding machines.
Is Festool still selling that stupid harness to hold the? It's still selling that stupid thing.
One of my guys,
and I call it stupid because it's stupid. It's useless.
dude, one of my guys has it. Yeah, it does. It takes the pressure off your back and onto your knees, but
And it puts it on your lower back.
yeah, on your lower back. So, you're sitting like this.
I don't want it on my lower back. I'm sorry
No.
to say.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. I think Festus has a lot of attachments and stuff that I think are great, but that's not one of them. But also, Festus's stupid expensive on everything, even the paper.
Well, what's the vacuum going for these days? Is it $3,000 for?
You can get a package of a vacuum and the Plane X, probably the Easy for about $2,600
with the actual Plane X as well too?
Yeah.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. They're
So they've gone down in price then a little.
yeah,
bit.
because Mirka is always also competitive. Like the Mirka package is about $2,300. I think the vacuum is not as good as the Festool for Mirka.
The holes on the Mirka, do they line up with the Festool holes? Of course not, right?
You can put the Mirka hose into the vacuum. For
No, the
Festool.
holes in the actual pads, the sanding pads, they don't line up.
No, they don't.
Why would that? Like that makes no sense.
If they did, I would never buy a Festool paper again, man.
That's what I mean. It's just so stupid because I'm.
Yeah. It is what
It's
it is.
frustrating, right? Because I guess you want, and the unfortunate thing is, like you said, Festool has a lot of great products.
Yeah.
But not every product is great from their line.
And it's unreasonable to expect that everything will be
No
great.
brand. Doesn't matter who it is.
We've had the palm sanders. It's called the RTS.
I know which ones you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we've
They're
had those
great.
ones.
Almost
They're
$1,000 each, aren't they?
Yeah, and for the same money, not same money, for $600, you can buy the palm sander from Mirka, put the Surf Prep foam pad on it, and you have the best sander, in my opinion, for patchwork.
It's real simple. When I walk into woodworking shops,
Yeah,
I see yellow more than I see green.
I agree with you.
And there's a reason why I see yellow more than I see green.
Auto shops too. Yeah.
So it says something. So I rather ask somebody that's constantly doing it on a daily, weekly basis and get their opinion about it instead of someone that's an influencer on social media saying that this is the best tool ever because I just used it for 10 minutes and it's wonderful and I'm not using it for another hour.
The best example I can say is one of my guys, when he joined us, he only had the Festool, swore by it, did thousands of jobs with the Festool. I told him on this first day, try the Merca for final sanding. He never put it back down since then.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. And every time it's not available to him, he's like crying and bitching. But
So what other services? So you're doing popcorn's busy, but then now you're getting into, but are you also finished painting, priming?
we don't offer painting as like a standalone service.
Okay.
But 9 out of 10 homes we remove stucco on, they'll ask us to
They'll
paint,
ask you to come in and take care of it. Yeah.
And like I said, my background is in painting. Painting since I was 14. We have great guys that do painting as well, so we kind of facilitate the whole deal if somebody wants it. We are really expanding this year. This year is the year of the growth. We finally have our everything this dialed down. We're really going to expand the repair department, so that means going aggressively after those property managers, brokerages, trade referral program. So all you electricians and plumbers listening to this, making walls into Swiss cheese, you got to call us. We'll make you look good to your clients.
That's going to be an uphill battle because they don't make the phone call.
They don't.
It's not their responsibility. Their responsibility is just to get that box in there.
Yeah, but don't you think you look better as an electrician, for example? You come in,
100%.
you make a whole bunch of holes, and instead of telling the client, you're a problem, go figure it out.
Yeah.
Here's the card to patch, dudes. You got a discount working with us. Give them a call. But anyway,
I
I'm
agree.
digressing. So repairs is what we're really focusing on this year, growing that to a point that if somebody calls us in, we want to be almost next day service kind of thing. We're currently booking into like a week out typically for repair, sooner if it's an emergency. Like I said, taping, we're getting into taping to a very select group of clients. We don't take on every single contractor because, to be honest with you, a lot of contractors are bozos out there nowadays. Yep. And then stucco removal, same thing. We're going to continue doing about 3,000 to 4,000 square feet a week. Everybody that's telling me I'm too expensive, it's okay. We're still doing 3,000 to 4,000 square feet a week, where a lot of guys are sitting at home now. I know it sounds cocky, but it goes back to the marketing conversation we had before.
I think it's 100% the marketing. That's what it is. It's just like the word is, and that's why I made the reference about Kleenex, right? You guys have established yourself, and everyone is like, this is the go-to thing. You ever walk in a property, whether it's high-rise or residential, you're there to fix the patch.
Yeah.
You see the patch, but peripherally you see how shit the mudding is to begin with on the rest of the place, especially if the sun is hitting the unit at a certain angle and you're just seeing this crappy work. I mean, it's not really your business. You don't want to get into the world of, listen, I can skim all of this, I can fix all of this, because that's opening up a can of worms at that point. And trying to explain to that client that you bought a lemon and this is what they offered you, right?
It's same thing when I used to do painting. Sometimes you want to sell based on what you think is going to look the best or think is the best. You got to put yourself in the shoes of the client. Let them do the expectation setting.
Yeah.
So every time we get into a job, if it's a shithole and none of the tape joints are properly sanded and just painted over and whatnot, and we have a repair to do in the middle of the wall, we tell the client, I'm going to make this repair area look the same as the rest of your walls.
That's where I was headed with it. Is that your work will look amazing, but now they're going to start to notice everything around the work.
Exactly. So, but we also tell them, my repair will look flat. So there will be a difference in texture kind of thing on your wall. If you want, I can give you a quote to skim coat the whole wall. Now, out of 10, most people are going to say, no, don't worry about it. There are, on the bigger, nicer homes, they expect perfection, and our guys are equipped to deliver perfection. It's all about setting the expectations when you walk into there. We quote based on photos. So if anybody wants a repair quote, they just got to fill a contact form, add a couple photos. Within 10 minutes, they have a quote in their inbox. So
based on size of the hole?
Based on size, based on what it takes to do the job. We have a whole bunch of criteria on our website that kind of walks you how to give us the right information so we can send you a proper quote. But the whole point is that we know what we're walking into before we even get there.
Yeah.
So a lot of kind of quick service companies that we modeled our business around, such as, for example, appliance repairs, also technician based. also in and out jobs, but they don't do any quoting ahead of time. What they do is they charge a fee to come to the site. They do a diagnostic and then give you a price. You want to do it, do it. Don't want to do it, do it. So the client doesn't really know what budget to expect, what they're looking at. We're huge on transparency. I hate extra charges. I think extra charges should be saved for guacamole only. So when we come out, there's a signed contract. The client knows what to expect price-wise. They know how long, more or less, it's going to take. And they know that if there's unexpected surprises, there will be a written change order on the spot done by the technician, which they can approve, not approve, up to them.
But you get a happy client, especially when they realize that they've been staring at this hole for like a long time. And I guess in a client's world, time is relevant because a long time could be a week.
Yeah.
And they'll be looking at this hole going, and if you're coming in here and you're taking care of it, same day is done. Yep. All you have to do now is paint it. Yep. And then we could even recommend somebody. And
we paint.
Oh, you paint it as well.
It's an option that they get if they want to.
If they want to go down that road, right?
Well, a lot of our repairs, it's painted corner to corner of the wall, and you never see it was there. So
nice.
It's definitely. I find that people are a lot less picky than painting. For example, on repair work, because like you said, there was a hole there. Now it's 6 hours later, there isn't a hole, and everyone's happy.
It's the them being like the problem being solved.
Yeah.
So now they don't have to look at it anymore. So now they're a lot happier and they'll recommend.
Yeah, just solves people problems.
Doesn't matter about the price. That's what I mean. Is like the price is your value, what you're bringing. You're bringing the headache gone. That's what we're bringing.
Every business needs to have UPS, USB, unique selling proposition. I'll be the first to tell you, I did not reinvent the wheel. This service has existed before me, will exist after me. But where we bring the value is in the total experience. From the second that you pick up the phone or send an email to contact us to the second our technician leaves, it's an experience that nobody in the industry is going to give you. You're going to get immediate communication. You're going to get uniformed, clean technicians with stocked vans and trucks. They're not going to leak oil on your driveway. They're going to come on time that they promise. They're going to ask you if you want a coffee on the way. They're going to protect your home. They're going to do everything with dustless sanding machines. It's going to be done almost immediately when you think about it in the grand scheme of things. And when they're done, they're going to give you a nice little gift basket. You're happy. You're telling your friends and leaving a review. And then in 3 months, we're going to touch base again to make sure everything is good and there's no cracks. And if there is, you have a warranty. So, from start to finish, it's the experience. And a lot of companies do a great job in the beginning, and then they don't deliver on what they promise, or they show up late, even if it's okay to show up late. Sometimes life happens, but we have these little things. All you got to do is send a text, give a call, and notify. Simple. It goes a long way.
Yeah.
Or how do you solve problems? We have a dedicated project coordinator and manager for every job. If there's a problem, we fix it. If there's an issue.
It's just communication. You have a chain of communication. From the beginning, from the time that they reached out to you to the time that you left their property and completed it, there's a chain of communication.
Some of my best projects and best clients I ever had came from butchered jobs that we fucked up on.
Okay.
It's how you communicate and how you solve the issues. Yeah. Synthesize, make bigger, overcome. Sympathize with the issue, make the problem seem bigger than it is, and then overcome the issue. That's how you sell. That's how you overcome.
Whose marketing idea was it to put you guys all in black because you're dealing with mud, and you're dealing with bird droppings if you're skimming a ceiling, and so it's like you obviously are going to get some white on the black. Yeah. But I mean, was that a conscious effort to go the black and yellow route?
I really like the black and yellow, and then my marketing expert behind you also liked it. We thought it generated sincerity, honesty, but trustworthy as well. And the yellow catches the eye.
Yeah.
So our first uniforms were black. And like you said, after one job, it's full of mud and dust and you can't use it anymore. So now our guys are all in either white or light gray. Stuff that hides the dust and you can clean pretty easily. Thankfully, drywall compound, unlike paint, comes off clothes very, very easy.
Yeah.
So the black was my idea. I still wear black because makes me seem skinny. But that's
it looks cool off the job site. It looks cool as a brand, but I mean the actual physical work, There's, as cheesy as you may look at it, but back in the day when painters were promoting themselves, I mean, Dickies were always white. They always came white with the loop, the belt loop, and hold your brush and all that crap. There was always white. It was just white, because they knew that they were painting white, right?
And then they said, when I started painting, I asked somebody, "Why is painter's white?" And he told me, it's you can judge how good a painter is by how much paint he has on his clothes. That's why it's white. I think it's bullshit, but it's a nice little.
I'm going to look at the work. I want to ask you. Okay, coming from the painting business, and you took your lessons from that to this. What was the number one lesson that you learned and you took from that to this business? Quickly turn digital measurements into efficient gains for your business. With iGuide, you can turn around DWG floor plans within 48 hours, easily share project files with partners, and create 3D walkthroughs for your clients. Stop struggling with inaccurate measurements, manual processes, and inefficient project planning and collaboration. Discover how you can boost productivity and cut costs with a virtual demo. Visit www.goiguide.com/AEC to connect with an iGuide specialist.
Find your niche. Find something that you can do that other people don't want to do or hate doing or not good at it. Solve rich people problem because they have more money to pay and they will pay it. And then really learn how to set systems in your business. That's the biggest takeaway that I had. My painting business, and I'm not going to get into like the name and whatnot, but we didn't have a good onboarding and hiring system. So anybody that can breathe got hired.
Which is usually the case for a lot of construction businesses.
I was doing all the onboarding. I was doing all the sales. I was doing all the production management. I was doing all the marketing. So I was essentially a glorified firefighter, fighting fires instead of actually looking at the root causes of those fires. And you get burnt out when you set to have your entrepreneurial dream. You think, I'm going to be a business owner. I'm going to be sitting on the beach. The business is going to be running by itself. Real quick, you realize that they don't teach us how to do it very well. Nobody really teaches you how to do it.
And a lot of people in the industry don't want to share.
And then after, I see it with painters all the time. They think that they fall into the perfectionism trap of nobody can do it as good as I can, so I got to do everything and that. And I fell into that probably up until this year.
Okay.
I was reluctant to delegate anything. But once you realize that, you bring on the right guys, you train them properly, you pay them good, you treat them nice, and you bring on people that specialize in specific things. You don't have to do everything, We brought on a project coordinator, and all of a sudden, and he's much better than me at paying attention to details and communicating, and all of a sudden, I don't got to be on the road 8 hours a day going from site to site to site. Nope. We brought on somebody to answer the phones and do sales over the phone because I suck at it. And all of a sudden, our closing ratio went all the way up. So, it's for me, it was the biggest lesson from a painting company is learn how to delegate and learn how to have the systems in place to delegate so shit actually gets done.
How much time did you spend, because it's clever, you were always being reactive, and then you finally said, pump the brakes, I got to be proactive now. But how much time did you spend being proactive to restructure the business?
We joined, I said it before, Breakthrough Academy. They specialize in contracting businesses, in coaching. It's a group coaching and then one-on-one. But they're
expensive?
Huge. It's about $5,000 to sign up, the initial fees, and then $1,600 a month. So if you're not implementing anything you're learning, it's expensive, and you're going to waste your money.
Of course.
The conference we were just at is about $10,000 for two people to attend, but you get a ton of value. But to answer your question is, we've been with them for 9 months now. It took me probably about 6 months before I started realizing how to implement everything that they harp on, because they throw a ton of information at you.
Were you swamped? Were you thinking,
I
got 7 days a week. I got my personal life. I got my business.
a little bit, but also I studied finance in school and university. So I kind of understood all the initial stuff that they were teaching everybody in the group exercise. And then once I realized how to use all of the different, sales systems, sales pipelines that they have, production pipelines that they have, the planning, their strategic planning is the biggest thing. Once we understood together, Mika and I, how everything works in harmony together to run a cohesive business, that's where things really clicked. And I would say it's the last 3 months for us. And it's big changes. All of a sudden, we're realizing, we had the wrong bum in the wrong seat. Let's restructure the company. How do we find the right bum to put in the seat?
Yeah.
And once we find them, how do we actually train him so he knows what his deliverables are, how we measure them, what the ongoing management is. There's something called GSR, goal setting reviews meetings, which should be done bi-weekly. Just to make sure that, your employees know exactly what is being measured these next 2 weeks, what the goals for the next 2 weeks, and then have a follow-up one to actually hold them accountable. So all those stuff, it seems like mumbo jumbo to a lot. I'm sure a lot of painters will be sitting here. I don't have time. I'm in the truck all day. Sure, but you also
time to grow.
You also can't afford not to.
Because you're eventually going to downward spiral out of the business.
Exactly. And that's what's going to happen. You're not going to have time to work on the business. And trust me, I hate these entrepreneur speeches and, you got to work on the business and be an entrepreneur and grind. It's bullshit when you're in the day-to-day, when you're painting, when you're estimating, when you're managing, bringing supplies and managing.
It's exhausting, man.
It's exhausting. But also, if you don't find the time to break out of this cycle, you will never get out of it.
Yeah.
And granted, I know painters that are making upwards of $200,000 a year painting themselves the whole year. And I know there's one guy on my Instagram, residential painter. I know Ryan has a great life. He does amazing work and he's busy year round. But that's not everybody. And not everybody deserves or wants to be this big time business owner because it comes with a lot of problems. But
I had a conversation recently with a big time painter in Toronto. And they're no longer on the tools. They're just running the business, and it was the best decision they ever made. And they're focusing on branding themselves and getting themselves out there. And I bring them up because somebody else reached out to me on DM, just asking me, I need some branding, marketing advice. How do I begin, Manny? What's the story? Like, who would you recommend to pay attention to? And I gave them a bunch of people that I respect on what they're doing online and have a look at them. And then I said, but by the way, they're spending this much. I know for a fact they're spending this much on a monthly basis just to create that brand content to keep that wheel going. And at first, when you hear that number, you're like, that's expensive. That's a lot of money. Yep. It's a lot of money, just like how you said, if you're not growing where you want to really go. And that's what these guys are doing, that their painting business is so huge now that there's so much opportunity that they see it as, if I'm in the office and I'm just working on the business and I'm just keep on growing and I'm networking and I'm hiring the right people, then I get more opportunity to come up with new ideas to keep on growing. And that's what they're doing now. They're expanding beyond painting now.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to blow the mind of a lot of people in the audience, mostly because they probably don't know the numbers. We spent almost 10.2% of our revenue this year on marketing and branding.
Smart move.
When we went to the conference, we were probably the highest percentage-wise on branding. But that being said, nobody in our industry had the goal to build a brand that could either be expanded nationwide or beyond that. And we know we set that as a goal for ourselves to begin with. And by spending that much money on branding, our ROI is huge on that. Yeah. We had a goal for this year. We already, because we spent the money ahead of time, right now we're just capitalizing on it. We're trending way past what we're wanting to do this year. So yeah, it's the branding. Branding and marketing, if anybody's not marketing themselves year round, and you don't have to spend a ton of money. There's a lot of stuff you can do online for almost free. Like Instagram, I was having this conversation with this guy yesterday. He was telling me how he's going to spend so much time on Instagram this year doing cool before and afters. And I told him, bro, nobody gives a fuck about your before and afters.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I see it, all these painter companies, and when they paid their SEO guys to do marketing, they'd put a bunch of before and afters or really edited crap. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Take your phone out, take a video of a cool tool that you use on a daily basis. There's a guy on Instagram that all he does is cutting in with a brush. He doesn't talk, doesn't show his face. All he does is satisfying cut-ins.
Yeah.
He has 55,000 followers on Instagram.
Just from
I can guarantee you he doesn't have a hard time keeping himself busy.
No.
Or get every job that you do, go above and beyond, make sure the client is happy. Get a review. There's Eddie from Only the Glass. He does a great job at that.
I'll give you a tip that I was impressed with the Mexican carpenter out of the States, right? Mm-hmm. Where he's got an exclusive Spanish base. He still speaks English, right? Yep. And when I first heard about him and I started following him and I paid attention, then he eventually was on the show and we got talking. I started telling a lot of people in Toronto, because as everyone knows, that Toronto is a hub when it comes to social media, specifically IG. I started saying, I don't understand why more and more contractors out there, doesn't matter what trade you are not making exclusive language-based pages. And I'm like, listen, if your content was exclusively Portuguese, Italian, Croatian, you would grow really quick. And I'm telling you, it will work, because look at his model. It works really well. America's what? Got to be 50% Spanish, right? So it's just like that market's there. And in Canada, it's the same thing here.
We have, I've seen an example. I can't remember the exact handle on Instagram, but it's a taping crew, Indians, and you can tell they tailor their content to the Indian community, which is a huge community in the GTA. You know, it's
you'll get workforce and you'll get work.
100%.
You'll attract clients and you'll attract people who want to be a part of that network.
Also, that's another good point that you just mentioned. You get workers. The best source of recruitment for us has been Instagram. It wasn't something that we set out to do.
They want to be a part of it.
It's people see the culture. They see that our guys having fun, dancing on site, and there's music playing. There's cool shit happening. There's cool tools happening. I've had one of our best new hires. We got him because he's followed us on Instagram. His existing company didn't invest in the tools, didn't really invest in them, and he wanted to be a part of a better crew, have more fun with what he was doing. Now he gets to spray mud with a $9,000 spray every day. So if you guys are looking to hire people, go post your culture on social. You'll be surprised.
That's exactly it. It's your culture.
Yeah.
And then people will be attracted to it. But I think a lot of people are missing opportunity by actually not posting their real culture. Yeah. And then connect it to your construction culture. And you'll start inviting a lot more people.
I think that construction has gotten a bad rep. I think that we need to change that. We need young people to come into the field. They need to realize they can make a really good living.
Yep.
I can't give exact figures, but I can tell you my top technician probably makes more than a lawyer. So if you're young and you want to get into the trades, find whatever niche works for you. Become obsessed about it. If you want to be a painter, become obsessed with painting. If you want to be an electrician, become obsessed with electrician.
Or just look at all the trades and see what you guys did. Where see where the faults are. See what can happen here and there.
Find a
how
niche.
You can improve it, right?
Find something. But even if you're going into construction management or something, there's nothing wrong with going into construction versus white collar. And I come from a white collar family of engineers and teachers. For me, it was go to school or get out of the house. So I went to school, satisfied my parents, worked a couple of years in corporate world, hated every second of it, and now my friends were going crazy. You went from a project manager in a cozy office to slinging a brush. Yeah, and I loved every second of it. So it's learn what you want. Don't pay attention to Joe Schmo in a truck that with his ass crack showing everywhere. There's people that carry themselves like professionals in this industry. If you're looking to get into the industry, carry yourself like a professional. It will only benefit everybody else. And stop lowballing everybody. Jesus.
Well, then that's what it just this is the one stereotype about the industry that I dislike, but it only happens when you start comparing apples and oranges, right? If you're comparing everybody on the same playing field, then you're going to get similar quotes. That's just a fact, right? When you got proper people that build proper businesses, the numbers are all going to be identical. But you're going to get someone who's going to come out of the Kijiji woodwork and start giving you lowballing bullshit, and then they're going to make promises that they're going to deliver, and then you're going to have a horror story to share, and then you're going to be like, well, I should have just hired you guys. Well, that's the industry, right?
I think the thing with pricing is what homeowners and tradespeople need to understand. The second you start lowballing each other, it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
And I don't
Doesn't
say that
benefit
because
anybody.
I need to buy a Ferrari. It's you as a tradesperson. If you're taking pride in what you're doing, you deserve to make a living wage, and above that for all the risk you're taking as a business owner. So it's perfectly fine. Don't price something high because you see me price something high. Price it high because you know your numbers and what you need to make to be able to live the life that you want.
The business that you're proposing.
Exactly.
To them. Yeah.
And if you do what you're supposed to do and you deliver the value to the homeowners, they're not going to compare you to anybody else. And even if they do, they'll see the value. Every day I get people saying, yeah, you're pretty much twice the other competitors, but we felt more connection. We felt that we can trust your company and that you guys will deliver a better job. So, yeah, why don't we go ahead? And it's not because I'm an amazing salesperson.
I'm trying to think of, I think every single trade can have a connection of a service entity associated with that trade. Yeah. I don't think there's a trade out there that doesn't. I mean, outside you start getting into the mechanical trades, but if you got someone that already has all their tickets and they just want to focus on service, like I pay attention to HVAC companies that have grown.
Yep.
Their first avenue of growth is what? Service.
Yeah.
Everybody
Look at
needs to
Tommy.
maintain that equipment and take care of it on an annual, seasonal basis. So now they start expanding their service division, which contributes to more profit.
So I'm sure you know him. I'm a huge Tommy Mello fan. Huge Tommy fan. And he talks exactly about that. Yeah, he made his money on garage doors and installing garage doors, but he sold like what, 25,000 service agreements this year. And you know, the chance of those people actually using those service agreements, it's like a gift card at the store.
Yeah.
It's 70% free money to the company. And that's something that we are doing this year, offering a service maintenance, which will include basically an X amount of visits per year that you can call us. And if you have a bigger repair, that money will be credited. It's still in the works, but you're right. Everybody could have a service department. The only issue that companies don't do it is because they don't see how they're going to make money on it.
They see the headache before they see the
They
opportunity.
see the small stuff, and they're not built for this for the in and out stuff. That's why on my painting company, we were not built for the in and out, like small type of job. But now, like the whole way that we set up, it's built to be in and out and specialize in the small jobs that other people just don't make. They make money on it, but in between, it'll be a nuisance for them.
The all-new Kohler home generator. The most powerful. The most durable. The most customizable. And the quietest home generator you can buy. When it counts, count on Kohler.
I also want people listening to understand that this didn't happen overnight. You had the years of experience that you went through regarding the painting business first, then it went into this, and now you've got the years that you were working on this.
To give an example of all the bullshit we had to go through, my very last painting job was a $120,000 contract on a medical space that was inside of a heritage building. I thought I was hot shit when I sold $100,000 in one project. It was great. It was supposed to be a 50% gross profit. In and out type of thing. I had it budgeted for 4.5 weeks. In reality, it took 1.5 years. It cost me $250,000 to produce, and that was the last straw that got me out of painting.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of it was my mistakes on the management side. Well, a lot of it is, subcontractors' issues and employee issues and material costs and all that bullshit. But yeah, learn to look at your numbers. Learn to know what you need to be at.
You need to stop everything and just go back and
it's
realize
okay.
that
It's
didn't
okay
work
to
out.
fail. That's what I'm saying. It's okay to
sure.
fail. It's without failing, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know that. Maybe it's not smart to just rely on people that said they can do it when it's time to do it, or when the contractor is telling, "Don't worry, everything will go smoothly." Maybe don't take his word for it.
That's proof in the pudding, and when you deliver, that's how it all works, right?
That's why I'm so selective when I work with contractors with GCs nowadays. GCs do see a lot of value in what we do, especially when they have a tight deadline and their tapers that did the whole job, they can't get in for another 4 weeks to fix the electrician relocating an outlet. So we do get a lot of inquiries from GCs, and they will pay kind of the prices that we want most of the times. But for us, if you're a GC and access is not as you told us it's going to be, price keeps changing. If you're doing can you just add this and can you do this, and you don't issue change orders, and it takes me 60 days to collect payment from you, you're in the blacklist, buddy.
Of course. Of course.
So yeah, when I'm talking about expanding, especially into taping, we have a very selective group of contractors that we're working with, or we're going to work with. And they'll get the same amazing experience that repair clients get and stucco removal client gets. They're going to look better to their clients. Their projects are going to be on time, but it's a give and take relationship.
It's a good point that you bring up regarding the GCs, and I think any tradespeople that are looking to expand and try to work with new GCs should spend the time and effort to go to their job site and just have a peek, because their job site is definitely a reflection of them as an individual. So if that job site is not clean, organized, it's not.
Look at their truck.
Simple as that. Simple as that.
It's a dashboard full of receipts
Yeah,
and papers.
that's all it is. Simple.
Stay the fuck away.
Then it gives you an idea of what to expect, and then you can kind of say, "Listen, I'm not interested anymore. I'm going to walk away. It's all good. Sorry. Good luck with the job. Move on." And don't be a dick about it. Just be professional about it. But it's important. There's a lot of lessons that all the younger trades can get from, right? So
I can fill 2 podcasts with just all the mistakes I've made in my past.
yeah, but that's construction in general, right? I want to ask you, what's with the socks?
Oh, dude. If anybody is watching this or listening, I'm known that I never wear matching socks. And
The only sock shop I know is the one on Queen Street.
oh, it's going to be like a family thing and friends thing. On my birthdays, people get me socks and holidays. I just think life is too short for boring socks and matching socks. You know, think about all the effort you go through in the morning trying to match socks, or when they come out of the wash, you have to match them. Wouldn't it be? Think of all the time you're saving and just grabbing whatever you think. And it's
what if it's like one of your favorite pair of socks and then you get a hole in it? Do you keep it or you toss it and try to find that favorite pair again somewhere else? But most of the time, you probably can't find that favorite pair again because it's a one-off.
I'm pretty funny when it comes to holes in underwear and socks. I think of it as ventilation. My wife had to throw out my lucky pair of underwear. That was pretty much Swiss cheese at that point. But now, once I have a hole in the sock, it goes in the garbage, and it's time to buy a new one.
Is there a particular sock that you like a design nowadays?
My very favorite one has my favorite NBA player. I'm a huge Carmelo Anthony fan. Okay. So like 5 years ago, my brother got me the Carmelo Anthony socks, and yeah, they're still going strong. So I'm proud to say that.
So you don't wear them as often.
I just had to say goodbye to another one yesterday that had a hole about this size in it. So yeah, it was a sad day, but we made it.
Is there anything else you want to share before I get into the 12 questions? I don't know. I guess my big question now is, and I don't know how much you want to share, but where's it going to go? Now that you've started this train, where's it going to go?
Patch Dudes, over our big, hairy, audacious goal, our BHAG on the 5 years, is to become the go-to for, basically become the Kleenex for drywall repairs. Yeah. So when somebody has a hole in the wall, first in Toronto area. Okay. So I want people in Ontario when their son punches a wall, don't worry about it. Just call the dudes. That's the goal for that. We're going to get to about 10 to 20 repair technicians on the road and a couple crews for taping and whatnot. And then after the 5-year mark, we're going to start looking at franchising or growing corporately across Canada. We've had plenty of opportunities already, thanks to the strong brand that, again, I'm biased, but I think we created a very strong brand.
Yeah, you established a strong brand.
Yeah, and we have had already a number of people reach out to us about franchising. I think the franchising, before you have a couple corporate locations and you prove the concept works, and before you made crazy amount of money, and before you can bring the value to your franchisees, you're going to do a disservice to any franchisees that buy the franchise from you. Yeah. If all they're getting is a licensing agreement to use your name, you're not giving them any value. So I want a business in a box, essentially. So I think it'll be around year 5 until we get there. Okay. So that's a growth, and we're always looking for really qualified, not only technicians and crew members and subcontractors, but also inside the in-house. We're looking for an incredible salesperson. So if you're out there, doesn't matter what you're selling,
reach out, right? And just
reach out. We're looking for amazing office and marketing people. So yeah, there'll be a lot of growth over the next couple of years. We're trying to 2x this year and then hopefully again next year, but we'll see where it goes. Toronto's a huge market.
Did you ever think, or that this is what you were going to be working on?
I always knew I was going to be an entrepreneur, ever since I was a kid.
But grow something in the construction? No.
I spent a summer managing a branch for WOW One Day Painting when I was in university. And I remember I was fascinated by the franchising world, by how they have their systems for everything, by how everything kind of works accordingly, and mostly by the culture that the franchisor built over there. Yeah. And I think ever since then, I knew that I would love to be involved in the franchising world. If I can start my own franchise in some way or successful business, I would love that. But more than anything, I'm just chasing the freedom. I'm chasing the ability to do what I want with who I want. And, until now, I wake up every day. I'm happy to go keep growing this thing. So I can't complain too much. And I get to work with my beautiful wife, and yeah, it's been good so far.
That's how I found it. I saw one of the vans, right? I just saw it at a gas station. I think he was just filling up or something like that.
Yep.
And I just saw the sign and I was looking at it going, the name is catching me, obviously. And these days, I don't give a shit about the mindset of what is politically correct or whatever.
Yep.
Patch dudes, like you said earlier at the very beginning of the show, it's applicable to anybody that's in construction, male or female. It doesn't matter to me, right? So
we did have somebody kind of challenge me on that.
Well, you're going to get a stupid person that's going to be in this country. There's a lot of them. They're all in Ottawa, right?
So at the end of the day, 95% of our clients are female. You know, we had female technicians, we had female workers. So it's about changing conversation. It's dude is a way of doing something. It's a way of living. It's a way of acting. Yeah, I guess it has the connotation.
I don't think it's a problem. I don't think it's going to be an issue. And you're not going to please everybody anyway. You never will. Some people will use Festool. Some people will use Merca. Some some people are going to drive this car, that car. It doesn't give a shit.
One little point that you said on the that you saw us from the van is if marketing advice for anybody that's starting a brand or even wanting to improve theirs. I can't tell you how many times when we just had one vehicle wrapped, people would call me and say, "We saw one of your vans," you know, as plural.
It was the same thing with me.
Yeah.
When I started my van with Hardcore Rentals, I would get complaints on certain social media. Like, I saw one of your vans driving a little too fast. And I was like, no problem. I'll let them know. I was the only fucker driving with the one van.
And I can tell you, I got a few of those, and I probably was driving too fast. So
I didn't give a shit about driving too fast. I wasn't dangerous. I was always conscious about, because you're representing a brand. Yeah. But I wasn't reckless. Yeah.
The whole point is a couple grand, not even. It cost me about $1,200 to $1,400 to wrap.
Oh, it's the best thing ever.
It will do wonders for your business. So
Best thing
if you're not wrapping your vehicles already, do it.
It just makes, and when it's parked somewhere, you can park it in different parts of the city. People will notice it.
I'll let my guys take the vehicles home. They get basically a free vehicle to use. And B, I tell them, drive it as much as you want. For me, it's a moving billboard.
It's advertising, marketing.
And it's crazy. Once I had my ex-project manager lived in Oshawa. When we barely did any work in Oshawa before that. He had the pickup truck over there for about almost a year. And you can see we're gradually starting to get more and more leads in that area.
It just makes sense, man.
Yeah, it just makes sense.
Thanks very much, Or. I got to do the 12 questions. On Instagram, patch.dudes. On the website, www.patchdudes.com. The phone number is 647-549-0299. And what is your favorite construction word?
Construction word. Caulk.
Calm?
Caulking.
Oh, caulk.
Because of the many different variations and dirty jokes you can make from it.
That's why I love construction. There's all kinds of stuff like that in there. What is your least favorite tool?
Any type of saw. I'm terrified of losing one of these, and I've seen too many accidents.
What construction sound do you love?
Paint sprayer. Something calming about it.
Now, okay, that or the replenishing of the priming?
Nah. Yeah, no, I hate that. But
if they can somehow get that and then get rid of that would be.
For me, it was especially when we did custom homes. When I heard that of the spray, that means progress was being made. So
100%.
Yeah.
What's your favorite beverage?
Coffee. Good little spro.
What turns you on and off in construction?
Turns me off is people that treat construction like a job and a business. Turn me on, sorry, like a job and a business. When they actually treat it more than just a job. What turns me off is people that don't respect the profession or what they're doing.
Yeah. Favorite curse word?
Has to be my second favorite 4-letter F word. Fuck. I use it quite often.
What's your favorite vehicle? Anything in the world? Any mode of transportation?
Give me a 1970 plum purple Charger. That's my dream. And rest them audit. That's I'm happy.
That's a nice one.
Don't give me anything electric.
Oh fuck! I'm calling them FEVs now. What do you miss from your childhood?
The carelessness, just going out in the summer playing basketball, and that's the only thing I had to do that day.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt one day?
I always say if I hit the lottery, I would open a mechanic shop. Not because I'm a great mechanic. I know nothing about mechanics. It just seems something cool. Working cars, classic cars all day.
There's something about that environment.
If I didn't have to do it for money, I feel like it would be great fun.
Yeah.
For money, I'm okay.
Yeah, there's something about that environment. It's kind of interesting. And sometimes, I mean, as much as I'm not a fan of Jay Leno, I like watching some of his videos because he enters his garage because he's a tinker, right? So all of a sudden he goes in, he messes around, but you can already smell that environment on the video.
Yeah.
And there's something about that environment.
I mean, I'll still, you know, if it's small stuff like changing the grill in my truck, I'll do that kind of stuff myself. But yeah, if I had the time and the complex for it, I'll do it.
What profession would you not like to do?
Ugh. As much as I respect them, I think anything in healthcare.
Yeah.
I respect the crap out of them, but I would not want to be a nurse.
It's tough.
Not smart enough to be a doctor, so yeah.
That's questionable these days. Last question. If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at those pearly gates?
What took you so long?
Or thank you so much for being on the show, man. I really appreciate
pleasure,
it, and all the best to you and the rest of the dudes
that,
that work on the business and keep on working on the business.
Hey man, I love hearing myself talk. So this was fun. I appreciate the opportunity, and yeah, hopefully I'll be back.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get you back on the show, and anyone who wants to reach out, whether for work or to work for. By all means, just reach out.
Let's reach out. Let's talk.
Okay, thanks.
Appreciate it.
Out of here, Angela.